At the start of every year, a lot of golfers say they want to get better at the game, but very few I see put a proper plan in place to achieve that. In this video, I'm going to explain how setting goals can actually really help you improve your golf. I'm going to show you how I use the SMART goal setting method to improve my game, and I'm also going to be providing some practical examples that you can employ or you can think about for you to set your own goals for the year. I'm also going to be fairly brave here, and I'm going to be sharing my goals that I set for myself last year, which ones I succeeded in and which ones I didn't and why. And then we're also going to be looking forward at my goals for this year. Sharing your goals is really quite uncomfortable, but it does help to keep you accountable, which is why I'm going to share mine with you later on in this video. You've probably heard of SMART goals in the corporate world, but I've found that they can be really well applied to actually setting your own golfing goals. So let's have a look at what SMART is, just in case you're not aware. So S stands for specific, and that means we don't set a goal of get better at golf. We want to quantify an area of the game that we want to improve. M stands for measurable, and this means we've got to be able to set a goal that we can measure against. Did we succeed? Did we fail? And why did either of those occur? A is for achievable. Now, if you're a 20 handicapper who started playing last year, you're not going to set yourself a goal of winning the Masters this year, as an extreme example. R is for relevant. And this is quite straightforward. We don't really want to be setting a goal of improving your skincare routine this year, okay? And finally, T is for time bound, which basically means us setting a time frame to achieve our goal. Now, the great thing with doing this each year is you immediately put a time frame on this, but we can do time frames throughout the year. But what we don't want to do is say something like gain 30 yards in distance off the tee by February. Right, so that's the basic principle that we want to work on for creating our goals. So now let's have a look at a few examples that I can give you that you may want to take away, have a think about, and amend as you feel will fit your game. So an example of a first goal, if you're not already a person that keeps stats, might be to say that for the next 3 months, you're actually going to keep some basic stats. So as the first thing you can do is understand what the strengths of your game are and what the weaknesses are. So as then you can build some further goals around improving the weaknesses and maintaining the strengths. Now, some of the things that we might want to set as basic stats are fairways hit. It's a very basic stat, but if you're not hitting it into the trees, then that's a great thing. The next one is one that's really, really important, and that's greens in regulation. So how many greens do you hit in the regulation amount of shots? So for par 3s, that would be 1. For par 4s, that would be 2 shots. And for par 5s, that would obviously be 3 shots. Now, additional to that, what we want to do is if we've missed a green in regulation, then keeping a simple stat of where we missed it is actually really useful. So did we miss it short? Did we miss it long? Did we miss it left? Or did we miss it right? That will again help us to build an understanding of where we're missing greens when we do miss them. And additional to that, I would say then if we have missed a green, I think one of the ones that we want to look at is how many shots it takes you to get up and down into the hole. So that's the chip and how many putts it takes you. And I would say a good point to do would be to mark how far away your chip shot actually finishes from the hole. This will not only tell you how good you are at scrambling, but will tell you whether your chipping is actually a strength or a weakness. And the final stat that you might just want to generally keep is how many 3 putts you have per round and what distance your first putt was from the hole. So that's a first goal that you could set yourself. It gives you a 3-month target, and it's going to allow you to understand your golf game a little bit better and what you may need to improve. If you find that your weakest area is approach shots to the green, it may well be that you set a goal to go to the driving range once a week, but only take your irons and wedges so as you don't get the urge to just stand there and bash driver, but you actually concentrate on hitting the shots that are actually costing you out on the golf course. If the stats that you've collected show that you normally tend to miss the green short, then you may want to set a goal to commit to hitting one more club into every green. If your statistics are showing that your chipping is really not that good, then you need to set a goal to commit to arriving at the golf club 15 minutes earlier and using that 15 minutes to do some chipping practice as part of your warm-up. And if, say, you find that your putting isn't particularly great and you're three putting a lot from 20 to 30 foot, then you might want to commit to turning up to the golf club 15 minutes earlier than you normally do and making sure that you've practiced some 20 or 30 foot putts before your round of golf starts. So as the final part of keeping your stats, if you do that and you do find that it really works for you, then you can set yourself the goal of maintaining keeping statistics, and you can do that in the manual way that you want, or you may want to actually commit to a system that will help you do it automatically, something like Arcos or Shot Scope or Game Golf. But ultimately, if you can keep your statistics generally, you can then refer to your second quarter of golf against your first quarter of golf, and you can see if the things that you've been working on have actually improved your game. If you've been actively working on your technique or you've been having lessons, you could set yourself a goal to make sure that you continue to work on that aspect of your game, so you don't just jump from swing fault to swing fault to swing fault throughout the year. You could set a goal to improve your strength or your flexibility. You could maybe set a goal, if you can't touch your toes, to within 3 months being able to touch your toes and learning about the exercises that you would need to do to be able to achieve that. You could set a goal to, say, drop your handicap from 18 to 14, but that's just not a good enough goal. What you're going to need to do is you're going to need to quantify that as to how you're going to achieve it. You could set a goal about maybe visiting the driving range once or twice a week and following a proper practice routine. And I'll pop a video just up here for you that could help you to do that. So you could set a simple goal of trying to make par or better more often on a hole after you've just made a double bogey. Now, the only thing you will need to do is you'll need to keep that in check, and you'll need to keep making a note of that through your process. But it's something that could help you out on the golf course, because it may just give you your focus back if you have made a double bogey, knowing that you're going to be quantifying that as a goal that you've set that you're going to calculate throughout the year. Don't be afraid to set big goals as long as you honestly feel they're achievable. So if you want to set a goal saying that you're going to win your club championship, as long as it's within the realms of possibility, then certainly set that goal. If you're talking about winning a major at your golf club, then again, as long as it's achievable, that's absolutely fine. If you think about you want to win a national event, well, that's absolutely fine as long as you believe that you can qualify for it. Go up there and play. There's no problem with having a dream as a goal, as long as it fits into our SMART goals and certainly is achievable. Perhaps set a goal to actually speak to the best or some of the better players at the golf club and see if you can find if you can join them for a social or roll-up round once every so often. You can learn so much from playing with good players, so that's certainly worth doing. So I hope you've got some good ideas around setting goals there. And if one of your goals is to get better this year at golf, then the first step is to subscribe to this channel. All the content that I'm producing is built on that premise. Right, so now's the tougher bit for me, because we're now going to go over my goals from last year. We're going to look at what I achieved, what I didn't, why, and also what I've learned that I can take into this year's goals. So my first goal last year was to shoot under par in a competition. Now, unfortunately, I didn't make that goal. I shot level par gross in 3 competitions at my golf club through the year, but I just couldn't quite get over the line. Now, I'm probably going to carry this goal over into 2026 because that makes sense. And I think the one thing that I've learned from this year is that perhaps when I get in a place where I'm actually playing well and I'm scoring, I need to really make sure that I'm going to try and push on and try and shoot as low a score as possible as I come to the end of the round, as opposed to trying to defend what I think is going to be a good round. Now, that may mean that I blow up a little bit more than I have done in competitions last year, but I think that gives me the potential to get under par and perhaps even significantly under par in competitive golf this year. So my second goal was similar to my first goal, but this one was to shoot multiple rounds under par in friendly and roll-up games. And I'm pleased to say that I did achieve that. I had multiple under par rounds throughout the year, and my lowest round was 3 under gross. Now this bodes really well, especially against my first goal, because next year I feel I should be able to shoot under par, see my handicap drop, and see if I can win some competitions. So my third goal was to improve my strokes gained approach play. Now I keep my stats on the Arcos system, and if you want to see more about Arcos, have a look at my stats and see how the system works, then drop Arcos down in the comments. Now I sort of achieved this goal. Certainly my approach and iron play has improved this year, and I've seen significant improvement in that, but it's not really at the level that I would want it to be. So I'm going to call it a partial success in the fact that there is improvement and trajectory in the right way, but I haven't quite reached where I want to, which is to be able to have it side by side with some of my best stats, which are short game and putting. So if I can continue to work on that, look at how I can do that. Part of that might be me looking at new equipment this year. And other things might be continuing to work on the techniques that I've been doing that seem to have had a really big impact on improving my approach play. So my fourth goal for last year was to improve my driving and reduce my penalties off the tee. Now again, this has been reasonably successful for me. I've certainly improved my driving. My statistics are now showing that my strokes gain are very much almost equivalent to a scratch handicap golfer, and as a strokes gain point I'm only losing 0.6 per round, and that means that I'm only really having a penalty shot off the tee, you know, every other round or every 3 rounds. So it's not really that bad. Still not quite where I want to be, but certainly I've made improvement, and I feel quite comfortable about where I am with that goal from last year. So my fifth goal was actually a technique goal. Now I've been working on my golf swing. When I tend to get things in a bad position, I tend to be a little bit over the top with my golf swing, as a lot of golfers are, and I've been working on some consistent techniques to try and get the club into a better position and get it shallowed down. Now I'm really pleased with how that's worked, and what I continue to do is continue to work on the same technical aspects throughout the whole year, as opposed to trying this, then trying that, then trying something else. And again, I think I want to carry that into 2026 just to make sure that I'm continuing along this path, which appears to be working really well for me. So my sixth goal was to maintain the strength training that I'd started last year, and I'm really pleased with that. I've been consistently doing 2 big sessions each week, and I can see the benefits physically and in my golf game. And again, I want to continue that and obviously start to see if I can increase and get stronger this year. My seventh goal was to maintain my speed training routine, and as you'll see from the YouTube videos up here, I've got a series about what I'm trying to do with that, so I'm quite pleased that I've achieved that. I'm certainly still pushing on this speed journey, and I think there's certainly benefits for me to gain. In conjunction with that, I set myself a ball speed goal of 165 miles an hour, consistently being over 160 miles an hour. Now, I haven't quite reached that within the last year. I am managing to get my ball speed around about the 160 mile an hour mark, but sometimes it's not there, and I'm very rarely hitting 165. Now obviously with the videos that I'm doing on speed training, I've tried to set myself a goal of reaching 167 miles an hour this year. So whether I can achieve that, who knows? It's going to be very difficult, but it's motivation to keep me strength training, keep me doing my flexibility work, and keep my speed training going, because I've set a goal that's actually going to be difficult for me to reach unless I really commit to doing it. My ninth goal was to have the lowest handicap that I've ever had since the World Handicap System came in the UK. And I'm really pleased to say that I achieved that. My current handicap entering this year stands at 2.6, and I actually feel like I'm playing better than that handicap at the moment. And again, I'll probably be rolling this goal over into 2026, but setting an even tougher goal. So my 10th goal was to win the club championships at my golf club. And I'm really pleased to say that I achieved that this year. That's my 3rd club championships victory. And now I've got to look at whether I want to set a goal about defending that title this year. So the 11th and final goal I set for myself last year was to qualify for a national finals event and place. Now, I qualified for the event. I qualified through local and regional qualifying to get to the finals, but unfortunately on the day we played, my game just wasn't there and I didn't place as I would have wanted to do. But jolly good result in the fact that I managed to get through the qualifyings and get to the final event. I also played in a national scratch championship last year, and I may well look at setting a goal this year around that. Right, so that was my goals from last year. So now it's time to look at my goals for this year. So my first goal for this year is exactly the same as last year, to shoot under par in competition. And honestly, I feel I'm closer than ever to being able to do that. My golf game feels in really good shape. I feel that I've got good direction, and I feel that this year it's just a matter of when, not if. My second goal is in line with that, and that's to get to a scratch or better handicap. Now, this is my big goal for the year, but for the first time in a couple of years, it certainly actually feels achievable. So I'm heading into this year with a real positive vibe about being able to achieve that. My third goal is based around my speed training and my speed training videos, and that again is to try and reach 167 miles an hour ball speed. Now this is going to be really, really tough. At the moment I'm struggling to get to 163, 164, so I'm going to have to look at my SMART goals and see if there's anything that I can employ that I haven't through 2025 to see if we can really find what it is that will push me on a little bit more. So my number 4 goal for this year, again, is very similar to last year's, and that's to continue to improve my strokes gained approach play. Now, I think my technique has helped with that, and I'm certainly going to be looking at some equipment. My irons and wedges are very, very old, and I'll put my what's in the bag up there for you so as you can see what I'm currently rocking. But I'm certainly going to have a look and see if there's an ability to update my irons, look at my shafts and see if there's anything that could actually help me to get my approach play even tighter, although it's improved. So my 5th goal for this year is around technique, and that's basically again to just continue the good work that I've done last year, and that's to really make sure that I'm focusing on continuing to work on and practice the same things that I've seen such success from. I've always had a habit of jumping from one swing thought to another, one to another, but last year I really focused on just trying to concentrate on one thing, and it really, really helped me. So my goal for this year is to maintain that and to basically try and get that into a position where it becomes a lot more natural, and therefore my bad tendencies are less likely to occur. My 6th goal for this year is again a follow-up from last year, and that's to continue with my strength training and my flexibility, and to try this year to actually get even stronger and really improve my range of motion. My 7th goal is really straightforward and simple. I really want to defend my club championship, and that's going to be really tricky. My 8th goal is the same as it was last year regarding national events. I want to qualify for the national events, but I want to place or have a chance to win. And my 9th and final goal for this year is along a similar lines. I said obviously last year I played in the Scratch Championship, and unfortunately I really struggled at the start of the first round, which meant I'd almost played myself out of contention. So my goal for this year is to play the Scratch Championship again, but be in contention to win going into the second day. So there you go. That's my golfing goals for this year. Now I'm going to take those away and I'm going to put the SMART behind them to give me the best chance of achieving every single one of them. If you've stuck around this far, then thank you and good for you. Now you're going to get a little bit of a bonus. Now I started my YouTube channel in September of last year, so this year is my first full calendar year of doing YouTube. So why wouldn't I set myself some goals? My first goal for my YouTube channel this year is to never release a video that doesn't provide some value to my community and the people that view my video, even if it means I have to delay putting out a video. It's really important that the content that I'm putting out actually has value for you, the viewer, and I see that as one of the fundamentally most important things that I can do with my channel this year. My second goal for my YouTube channel this year is to improve every aspect of the videos that I make. I hope that you'll have seen, if you're an early adopter of my channel, that the videos that I provided are gradually getting a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. But I want to continue to improve that so as my videos are fantastic for people to watch. My final goal for my YouTube channel this year is to continue to prove that there's value for people watching my content and subscribing to my channel. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video and I hope it's inspired you to set some level of goals. I think you can really make improvements in your game if you do. And if you've got any questions about goal setting or you want to ask me anything, pop that down in the comments and I'll reply to everything. And feel free, again, I know it's scary, but if you want to create some goals and then pop them down in the comments, just so as you're held accountable, as I've now held myself accountable to you, then that would be fantastic. Right, so that's it for this video. Make sure to leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and check out this video that I think you might enjoy. I'm Graham, and I'll catch you on the course soon.